Hi, it is speech pathologist Rebecca Reinking here, and we are delving into the steps of the minimal pairs approach. Now, hopefully you've already seen video number 1, which was on the first step in minimal pairs, which is to familiarise the child with the vocabulary, with the words that you're going to be using. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you go back and watch it so that this step, the second step, makes more sense. Now, with our second step, the children should understand what the vocabulary is and they know the meaning of the word. So it's not like it's a new word for them. What we want to do in this second step is we really want to check that they can hear the difference and perceive and discriminate the difference between their error and their target sound. So for example, when we have a word like pin and spin, we want to know that even though they're having difficulties applying the rule and putting like the SP sounds together, when I say the word spin, they know what I mean and they can indicate which card I have said to them. Now, this is what you'll normally read in a journal article, or you might see this in a YouTube video. We familiarise the child with the vocabulary. We put down every single card like this. I'm just going to put them down because this is an option. And we have all the cards on the table, and now we're going to ask the child to point to the word that I'm saying. So it might look something like this. Can you pick up stop? And then the child will hopefully pick up stop. Can you point to ski? And the child will pick that one up. Now, sometimes if I'm not sure that the child understands the meaning, or if I really just want to be vigilant in checking their ability to hear the difference, I actually tweak this approach and I do the auditory discrimination straight after I'm familiarising the child with the vocabulary. And I want to show you what this looks like. So for example, I might say to the child, you open up the door with the key. This is the key here. And this is ski. Some people like to ski. Now, I might say to the child, I'm going to see if you can point to the one that I'm saying. I'm going to see if I can trick you. The reason why I like to do it straight after is we've just spoken about the words. And what I will do is I will usually alternate the order and do a random, maybe 5 or 6 trials. And I'll see if the child can identify, which word I'm saying. And it will sound something like this. Can you point to ski? That's it, that one's ski. You ready? Let's see if I can trick you. Show me ski. Key, ski, ski, key. Oh, I can't trick you. You got really good listening. Now the reason why I do that and then I move on to the next pair is because sometimes I'm not sure if children are guessing, and so by me doing this a couple times and swapping the order so that they're not just assuming it's going to be this card and then this card or vice versa, I really am checking to make sure that they can hear the difference and that they understand the meaning of the word because they're pointing to the one that I'm saying. So that is just a little tweak that I sometimes do, and then I'll put the card down and I'll bring out my next pair, like top and stop. So I just wanted to present that as an option. And the reason why auditory discrimination and this step is so important is if a child can't hear the difference between these two words, their sound awareness might not be there, they're not aware of their own, speech, or they're just not used to listening for sounds. It can be quite a skill for kids if they've never actively listened and perceived and judge sounds and things like that. What this does is it just gives them the opportunity, and it really, really lets me know, because if they can't hear the difference, how am I supposed to expect them to say this differently? This is why this step in the minimal pairs approach, it is so important, and it is a step that we don't skip. And I think for that rationale, that's why I kind of like to do a couple of options, because I really want to make sure that the child has some solid listening skills. And if they don't, let's say they're kind of guessing or they're getting these 60% of the time, I might just focus a little bit on this before I jump to step 3, which is having the child say the word pairs differently, say stop, say top, and going through, because I want to make sure that they can hear the difference and they know the meaning of the words. I hope that is helpful and that you can see why this is an important step that we do not skip. And like I've presented, you've got those 2 options. You can completely do step 1, familiarise the vocabulary, and then do step 2, which is have them point. Or you might want to tweak it as I have done and told the child what the word means and then have them identify the differences, and you just do that for each pair. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions on this step and I will happily answer them. If you found this helpful, make sure that you like and please subscribe so that you can see our next video in the series, which of course will be step 3, the production of minimal pairs in therapy.